Hello, Mr. Carson. You there?
Yeah.
All right. We got 9 minutes before we're gonna start. Just giving people a grace period, like usual. Take a look at Edsby. When class starts, I'm gonna put the link. But try to find the link. It's here for today, and the project is this one. So let me just put it in the chat right now, so you'll have it already, and you can start. I'm gonna pull up our norms too. Uh, and that should help you.
I already got it.
Okay. Okay. All right, Mr. Carson, 4 more minutes and we're going to start. And everybody else will be considered late. In 2 minutes, I'm going to do attendance again. Okay, who's coming in the room now? Miss Greer. Miss Greer, did you get your situation resolved?
No, not yet.
So you're on a cell phone?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that'll help your attendance. I do know if you log into Scratch on your cell phone, you can still get some things done and then pull it up on your computer when you get that resolved.
Okay.
All right. So 3 minutes and we're going to start. Hello, Mr. Rush.
Hey, Mr. Tyler. Good morning, everybody.
Okay, we're going to go through attendance in a minute. Okay, so let's take care of attendance real quick. Let's see here. So Michael, I'm starting from the top. Tyra Allen is absent. Mike Brown absent. Mr. Carson is present. Cervantes is absent. Uh, Miss Cherry's absent. Roman Davis absent. John Tez Goss absent. Ms. Greer is present. Jamil Harris is absent. Joshua Hill is absent. Giovanni is absent. Daniel Jackson is absent. Jamaria Jones is absent. Romel Lee is absent. Tamia Love is absent. Lanaria Robinson absent. Alika Vernon absent. And Monet Worthy absent. Share the office. Okay. And we're gonna get into our norms real quick. Okay, so let's minimize this. All right, so Mr. Carson and Miss Greer. I know Miss Greer, you're on the phone. You just gotta keep your camera on and be in the classroom. I understand you're having computer difficulties, and I'll follow up with staff to see if we can find a solution for you. But you are able to go to this link. They give you the link for Scratch because you're not on a computer, so it's gonna be a little tough. So that's how you start a new Scratch project. But today's project, I have an Edsby already. I think Carson already found it, and this is today's project. So You can open up the project and take a look at the code. And if you think you know what to do, you can try to follow the code side by side. I don't know how you're going to do that on your phone. You might have to tab it on your phone to look at the code and then code it the way that we're doing. So let's get started. I'm going to have Miss Greer need you to read all five of the academic norms because you guys are here. I don't know if you can see it, so I'm put it in the chat. You just got to read it to us. All right. So can you read? Can you see it in the chat or no? Miss Greer, you there? Okay.
Huh?
Oh, okay. Can you see the five norms in the chat or on the screen?
Yeah.
Can you read all five for me?
No one has the right to hurt another person. Education and classroom is sacred. We will never behave in a way that discredit ourselves, our school, and our family. At Excel Academy of Southwest is a wait. At Excel Academy of Southwest, students always a year gentlemen. We take pride in Excel Academy of Southwest.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so next up is Mr. Carson. Do you need me to put it in the chat, or are you able to see the five academic norms I need you to read?
I can say,
Okay, go ahead and read them all for us, sir.
let's say we respect the opinions of others. Number two, we respect the culture of the classroom. Number three, we are intenders and participate. Number four, we have high expectations of ourselves, our peers, and our teachers. Number five, we are here to focus on preparing ourselves for post-secondary endeavors.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, so let's jump into today's assignment. I don't want to forget, but today's word of the day is ambiguity. Ambiguity, I want to say. So ambiguity. So we'll type up, and the way you get credit, this is to help out people, is to put the definition of the word ambiguity in. I want to say your project. And when I'm talking about your project, you'll have a space, and you go to see project page. Let me come here. If I go to, like you see here in the notes, I want you to put the definition of that word. So you'll put the word and the definition, and that'll give you an additional 25 points to a previous assignment. Okay. So just remember to do that, and that'll help you out. Again, that word is ambiguity, and I think it allows you to click on it and learn the word. Now, these word of the days, they're pretty much getting you. I don't know if you guys are seniors, juniors. They're getting you ready for the SAT. So just wanted to put that out there. If you have it in there, it's 25 extra points. But today's assessment or today's project we're working on is loops and animal parade. So I'm gonna expand this because I'm a firm believer that if you see what happens, you can program it correctly. Also, Mr. Carson and I think Greer, a lot of you guys had great animations. So keep up the great work on that. But this project, if you pay attention, is the same situation. So for things to move around on the screen, they have to have animations, which means it has more than one character. So let me stop the program, start it, and it tells you, click on the animals below. And this is the project I sent to you in the chat already. So we click the animals, and most of these animals do certain things. So if I click on the kangaroo, nothing happens. If I click on what is it, the grasshopper, nothing happens. But the dog, notice something happened. All right. And then you click on the B, it does things. So this is a real easy assignment today because it takes you into loops. And when you have a loop, basically a loop allows you to continue a previous action or event. So I'm gonna click on CSI code and I'm gonna take a look at all we have to program today. First one is the dog. Notice the dog was the only thing that moved. The next one would be the kangaroo. See if I can click on him and move this over. I think this is bothering that. Okay, we'll get this stuff out the way. 1 second, you guys. All these schedules. There we go. So the kangaroo. And what we're looking at is the code that the kangaroo has, right? So this is a very small amount of code you need for that. The grasshopper has a very small amount. And when the flag is clicked, these things happen. They'll move over. It look like he did, but they'll move over instantly. And then to make something else move, you got to click on what has the programming, which is the dog. So two things I want you to work on is you might want to start with the dog first, and the grasshopper and kangaroo next. And the biggest amount of code we're going to try to work on, some of it in class, some the rest is going to have to be asynchronous or at home, is the B, because there's a lot of things it does just by clicking on it, and it has instructions it gives the entire program. So let's start with the dog. All right, so I'm gonna put the code for the dog. You might want to, when you open this code, just arrange it so you can see all parts of code and you don't miss anything. So that's not too good of a, there we go, that's a better view. So if I scroll up a little bit, yeah, let's do this, because it's three parts of code, right? So these are the parts of code I want us to work on. I'm gonna start you off with this part, and then you're gonna be responsible in 10 minutes to display at least these all these segments, this first segment, second segment, third segment of code. And if you feeling really, really good about getting a lot of stuff done, this last line of code. So it's like four parts of code or segments of code that you need to program in 10 minutes, but you really only need to have these three sections, because this is again trying to get you guys ready for the B, which has all of this code here. So let me zoom out. All right. So this is to get your mind warmed up and ready, because I don't want you trying to do all this um, later on tonight before 8 and you miss some steps. So use this time in class to really get a lot done. The other big thing is, while we're in class, you got to keep your cameras on, but that's already been told to you guys. And let's see here. Yeah, everybody's good on cameras. So let's start off with what we need. You want to have your code somewhere opened up, and also open a different tab and resize it if you're on a computer. If not, just have it tabbed out and click on create. So once you click on create, what happens is you're generating an entire new project. There's a project, and then like I said, I'm starting with the bumblebee. I'm starting with the dog. I got the bee selected. All right, and the first line of code to start anything with this sprite, and then don't forget you got to choose your own sprite, right? So I'm gonna get rid of this sprite, and I got to choose an entire new sprite. So I'm going to choose sprite. Just going to click on that. And in this view, I can see which ones have animations by just, if you give it a moment to load, you'll see when you hover over them, they'll have different motions. Like this one doesn't. Basketball's not moving. Baseball's not moving. But Andy is moving. Amon's not moving. Abby moves if you're looking real closely. So you definitely want to choose sprites that have at least 3 costumes, because that makes the animation that you're programming. Someone I think chose cheese puffs. I think that was Cherry that did that. But let me see. For the sake of this, project, I'm gonna choose this dinosaur here, because look, it has 3, and you can always check by clicking on costumes, and there it is. You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 costumes, right? At least you need at least 3, but the more the costumes, the more animations you'll see. So that first block of code was in events. I'm gonna go to when clicked and bring it over to the canvas. Now this is code for just the dinosaur. You want to make sure, that's one thing certain students are getting mixed up. You want to make sure the code that you're working on is selected, and it's not something else, because you could put the wrong code onto something else. So you minimize this. What's the next part of code? If I look here, it's, let me zoom in. Let's bring this over some. There we go. It's go to X and then 53 when Y is negative 129. So I got to go to my motion, because that's a motion. It says go, right? So I'm going to take this one here and set it for what we have in the program. And that was 53. And I'm going to tab over, and it's negative 129. Okay. So next is the sound, right? Because it says switch costume to. So it don't. It looks like it's sound, but because I looked at the sound, but it's a different color. It looks, and I had to think about it because switch costume. Now this is where those different versions of your sprite come into play. So I'm gonna go to switch costume and notice already mine's is set up for dinosaur A. I can select any other costume, but no, it's select E. So there we go. And the reason I select A is because the dog here in the sample code that I gave you guys is dog A. So your costume should start off with A. I'll do another segment of code with you, and then you need to try to get as much done as possible on your own in this 10-minute time. Because I'm gonna ask for demonstrations, and that's where you share your screen to show how much work you've actually got done. So what do we have? We have when what? When sprite clicked. So it's when we actually click on the character from your animations or your code. I'm grabbing from the wrong section. It's what events. So when sprite clicked, we'll put that here. And then we'll look at the next line of code, which is another, looks like motion. And it says go to at 68 when X is 68 and Y is 129. So let's see, go to. I got an X and Y for this. Click that on there or connect it to that. And 68, I'm gonna hit my tab button and come over to the Y value, and that's going to be a negative 129. So that's good. Let's continue on. We got play sound. So we know that's a sound category of code. So where we at? Play sound until done, and that matches what I'm looking for my source code. I'm gonna put that there. And what does it say? Play sound of bark. Well, there's no bark sound, right? So I got to come here to my sounds. And I told you this week we're going to be working on sounds more than anything because a lot of people didn't embed certain code for whichever music. Now, Mr. Carson did embed code for a different backdrop. That was imagery, and that was pretty good. But now we're trying to get your sound in there because at the end of this, you guys got to have one overall project. Our own characters, right? Yes, ma'am. Tamia Love is arising. So let me put her into the attendance. Miss Love is here. Okay. And let's see if her camera's working. Miss Love, yeah, turn your camera on. And I think the code you need to start the program is in SB, but I'm going to take it from the top of the chat and put it back so you can get started with us. Let me copy this, put this here. And the first link, again, allows you to just begin starting a blank scratch page. You got to be logged in to your Scratch online account or profile, and then the next link that I put in the chat again is the actual project we're working on. All right, so we'll come back to Love because she's here, but I don't see her. What else we got? The sound, right? So notice over here that play sound has bark selected. Now it's a dinosaur. I can choose a different sound, and you're encouraged to use a different sound. You don't have to use the same exact sounds. But here's where I want you to experiment with just, little bitty sounds here that you recorded. You can record a new sound by either clicking record here, or you can come back to your code. And if you just want to get to it quicker, you click on record, and it'll take you back to the same recording device. So if I said, hello, how are you doing? Stop. I can say how much of the code I actually want or how much of the sound I want to go to that, right? So let's save it. But so if I said, hello, how are you doing? Right. So get in the habit of, sample your code. So how am I supposed to do this if I can't open two tabs on my phone? I can't see the original project. Um, you're on an iPhone? Because okay, to me, a left. All right. If you're on an iPhone, then I know you can toggle through different tabs. Are you on an Android though? I don't know what type of device you're using. All right, I guess she'll respond when she can. That's what I was telling you. It's tougher on the phone, but you could try to get some work done. All right, so I'm not expecting you to get all the same amount of code done, Miss Greer, but just trying to get you started, because anything you do in your Scratch profile right now, you can pull up on your computer whenever you get it resolved. So you at least have something done, right? Um, what was I saying? Oh, so you can re-record or you can save it. She's typing. Okay, wait. How am I supposed to? Oh, no, I'm on an iPhone, but it's open through my Gmail, so it won't let me open the other window, other one. Okay, okay. So you do your best. I think if you're, what I'm gonna try to do is when I'm done explaining everything, zoom in on my screen. I don't know if that helps. Maybe you could switch between the Google Meet and the Scratch profile. Otherwise, you just have to review the recording, and we got to try to get your computer situation better. So that's the only idea I got. Um, so you save your soundbite, and once you do that, you'll see recording one here, right underneath pop. Okay, I'm supposed to pick up my computer at 12. Okay, well then just do as much as you can. Like I said, on whatever you can see, and then once you get your computer, you should be okay. Because if you did everything within Scratch, it should save as a project. Just make sure you hit the share button, Miss Greer, so you can always come back to it. Um, and don't forget to name it so you know which one you was working on. So now this soundbite it should be included, and you see here it is recording one. So you can use that as a possible selection to begin coding this section. If in case you don't want it, you can't find bark, or you got a better idea, I encourage you to use different sounds, right? So that's recording one, and that's fine. I'll come back to my next piece of code, which is within our events, right? No, it's in our control. So we come to control. This is where we have loops, right? And I just want to explain what a loop is. So let me zoom in a little bit. So a loop allows you to have a certain event repeat itself, or have conditions of itself. Some common loops are forever, repeat, if, else, and I think then is included in both of these. But they're condition statements. Now we're going to be using this because this is beginning to have you guys automate a variety of things, from robotics to putting loops in to control mathematics. So it's an important block of code you're working with today. Now I got to go to control in my sample Scratch, or did I make it for the new project, and find the same block, and it's called repeat. So I'm gonna grab my repeat block, and then I'm gonna snap it into place. Now it says repeat 3 times. This one has 10, so we got to change that. That's 3. Next, we have wait, which is another block of code in our controls. And if we come up here, you see wait. That goes inside of this loop for repeat, meaning repeat this 3 times with these conditions inside. So that says 0.5. Miss Love has joined us, and she's got a camera on. Cool. Miss Love, do you need the links again or no for what we're working on? This is 0.5. And then it's move. I can't hear. Okay. Let me type. You can't hear because you got your speakers off or something. Something's muted. But what was I saying? Can Are you able to log into MIT Scratch? Just the man that I wanted to talk to is here. Mr. Irvin, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, Mr. Tyler. How you doing?
I'm all right. Love and Greer are having issues. Do I need to uh, follow up with you, or is it like, I don't know if it's the same form for their technology, but
Mm-hmm. Uh,
she said
I
she's
don't want.
coming to the school at 12. That's why I was asking you. So I don't know. Oh, you doing the assignment, Love? Okay.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't want to take up too much of your class time, but if you want to get into it, what's going on?
But no, you're not taking no class time. I was about to get them started on their individual time to work on stuff. But Miss Greer, you feel like discussing your issue? You there? Can you turn on your microphone? I'd rather nip it in the bud
He
sooner than
know
later.
already. We already talked about it.
Oh, okay. I was just checking. And Miss Love can't hear, so I don't know if something wrong with speakers. She can't hear the class, is what she's indicating. But that was it, sir.
Okay. I can reach out to Tamia's mom today.
Okay. Okay.
See if we can get it resolved.
All right. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Are we following the same links for GGI? I'm just curious.
Today is, I believe, Miss Vega.
Okay.
But if there's overflow, you may get a separate link from Mr. Borders.
Understood. All right. So our next block of code is the move block. Now we go back to our motion because you're actually making the character move after it repeats this movement like for 3 times, right? So I'm gonna take this here because it's a move block, right? It says move how many steps? 25. 25 in there. And our last block before I begin you guys to work independently is this next costume. So we know where that is. That's in our looks category of code. And we look for next costume. And this just says, hey, each time you go through this loop. So first time the costume is going to change. Second time the costume is going to change, and it's only going to wait 0.5 seconds before it changes. Each time this occurs, it moves 25 steps. It's going to repeat this for 3 times, and that's all that loop means. That happens the minute the sprite is clicked. By the way, so let me zoom back out. What you need to focus on for 10 minutes, and I'm then in this 10-minute time, I am going to ask you to present your screen. Now, understand what's going on, Miss Greer. If you did anything, you can share and get the points, or you can reclaim them later when you get your laptop, functional. I mean, I don't see some people. What happened? Oh, Love left. Okay. Okay. So I hope she comes back. All right. So I'm going to set a clock for 10 minutes, and this is just for you to begin on the assignment. And then after 10 minutes, I'm going to ask you to just demonstrate what you have for credit. Now, you really only need this first sprite completed, but I try to open the tab, it exits me out the other tab. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So just stay on the computer. I mean, stay on your phone for the entire class, Miss Greer, and check the recording out later if it helps. But I think you're capable of doing it with or without the recording. No problem. So she's staying online so it doesn't affect her attendance. But 10 minutes, I need you to work on uh, the code that you've been given, recreating it with your own sprites. Uh, be sure to put backdrops. Some students, I think I saw they didn't even have a backdrop, and I took off 5 points for that. But get all the points. You have your own backdrop. You do like Mr. Carson did and put your own image in there, as long as it's something positive and clean. Like the Chicago Bulls is what he did, I think, and that was a good idea because it shows things you guys like. All right, so 9 minutes to work on this project. about less than 5 minutes. We're going to do share outs or demonstrations. Okay, so let's recap. Um, so I want to make sure people get those points. If you have the word of the day, which again was ambiguity, right? Or ambiguous. I'm sorry. I gave you the definition there, and it's an adjective unclear or vague in meaning. So if you want those points, you have to have two terms in your definitions in your notes. One is ambiguous with this definition here, and the other one I want you to look up is conditional statements. Okay, so where do you put that at to get the credit? Well, if you go to your project page, like I showed you here, we go see project page. This is inside of your project. You would put it in the notes and credits section. Okay, so that's if I see that when you turn in, I'm sorry, your project, then I'll give you an additional 25 points towards assessments or projects. Assessments are quizzes. Those are the quiz days or projects, which is all we've done is MIT Scratch projects. And I'm hoping next week we can go into, I want to say make code type of coding exercises. And make code is through Microsoft. All right, so we got that out. Well, it's time for demonstrations, and I think it's just one person that can demonstrate because Miss Greer was having issues. I think Miss Love she logged out to fix her issues. Did she return? She hasn't come back. Okay, so it's just you, Mr. Greer. I'm sorry, Mr. Carson, Miss Greer. You just got to stay on until I can dismiss everybody, and that's about maybe 14 more minutes. So let me stop sharing. Mr. Carson, can you present what you've worked on so far so you can get the demonstration points for today?
Mm.
Are you scratching your head? It's a lot you didn't get done, or you got all of it done?
No, I got most of it done.
Okay. You usually want to have it all done already and stuff. Okay. So this one
Yeah.
gave you a little bit of a trust struggle.
No, I was just looking for a background.
That was the biggest decision. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, how your code look, man? Can you come back to that,
Alright.
Mr. Picasso? Okay. Okay. That's why. Okay. So you can figure out your backdrop later, but what's your first sprite you worked on?
My elephant.
Okay. So you got how many parts of the code done? Let's see. Scroll over a little bit.
Hold up.
Looks like you got two segments of code. Oh no. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, you got busy. Okay. So you got the middle sprites. Those are the smaller pieces of code. You got those done already?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And what about the B part, or I guess the monkeys to be? Or click. Okay. So you still got a lot to do with that one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's all I need you to share. Thank you, sir. Um, it is 9:47. We have not had a break yet. So I just want to go over a couple of quick things, and then I can dismiss you guys so you can get ready for your next period. Let's take a look here. Oh, I gotta share entire screen. Okay, there we go. Okay, so you should see my screen now, right? Um, I wanted to talk about one additional thing. Inside of your Scratch projects, you have your profile and then my stuff. So this is very important because I want you guys, when I'm going through your projects, this is like, I really want to talk about this before I dismissed everybody. When you're going through your projects, you want to make sure projects you don't want to show up, because sometimes you might send the wrong code, and it's confusing because you got to clean up my stuff folder. So like what I was just working on with you guys, I can delete it, and then you can also see if I reviewed it or not, because you'll see how many, this little I here, you'll see if I took a look at it, right? You can unshare it if you didn't want to share it and delete it as well. So just, a heads up on things you can do with that aspect. The other aspect is you can also, if you're not sure if you shared it correctly, click on unshared projects. And these are projects that I've just worked on with you guys, and I can just scroll through. So this is me showing you how to manage your Scratch projects better, because if you do it on a cell phone, You can work on some code. Say you got to go do some chores, or you got to go outside for some reason. You're just not by a computer. You can go through your profile and actually see which Scratch projects you haven't yet shared. So that way, when you try to send me the link to review your Scratch project, you can be sure I can see it. So that's one thing. If I give you a message back in Edsby and I'm like, I can't see your project. You want to come to your my stuff, go through and see which projects you actually shared and which projects are not. And especially in your shared, you can delete all of the ones and just that way you can keep track. So if you're not doing anything with it, go ahead and remove it. So this is me cleaning it up and getting you guys ready for a big group project that's coming up. All right, I think I covered everything. Greer's here. Miss Greer, you can go. And Mr. Carson, you're free to go. All right, you guys have a great day. See you tomorrow. Okay. It gives them at least 20 minutes to get ready. Let me get this. I know some of these kids need breakfast yet. All right, so stop the recording.